Welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Apparently, Casey Anthony, otherwise known as Tot Mom by Nancy Grace. I think she is the one that penned that nickname. If not, well, I gave her credit for it anyway. She has been posting, I think in May, she posted a bit of a memoir that she is writing about her life. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want to give Casey Anthony a dime. Hell, I wouldn't want to give her a penny. And yeah, I know they're out of circulation, but there's still some floating around my house, and I still wouldn't give her one if I found one. So Nancy Grace the other day went through this news that she posted apparently on her Substack, which I guess she's real popular on her Substack. I don't know if the reason that she's so popular is because everyone just wants to see what's going to come out of her mouth or what the situation is. She has definitely had a lot of drama surrounding her life since the 2011 trial for the murder of her little daughter, Caylee Anthony. And yes, this is a new collage I put together here. And I don't really like to show pictures of the two of them together, but you know what? She was her mom, if you want to call her that, or the one who carried her, gave birth to her. I don't know however you want to refer to her as, but little Caylee was here for 2 years and she deserved so much better.
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
A brand new memoir. What? Who's going to buy Top Mom Casey Anthony's memoir? O.J. Simpson? Ted Bundy? Beelzebub? Lucifer? Don't know, but it's happening. As a matter of fact, we've seen the front cover. This week marks the death many years ago of 2-year-old Caylee Anthony.
And I remember this very, very vividly. I live here in Central Florida. I remember hearing about Caylee being missing. I remember the whole Zanny, the nanny, all of Casey's garbage, her lies that she worked at Universal through the entire trial, that my state effed up. Yes, they screwed it up. I remember every single bit of this. I followed this trial very closely, and as did Nancy Grace.
Why don't we just start with the 911 call?
My daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her. Your daughter admitted that the baby is where? But the babysitter took her a month ago that my daughter's been looking for. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter. And she just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Caylee, Caylee, Anthony.
Let me go to a very esteemed guest joining us tonight, the judge that presided over the Top Mom Casey Anthony murder trial, Belvin Perry Jr., former chief judge, author of The Velvet Hammer. Nice title, Judge. Judge, please, how could you sit on the bench and keep a straight face? Top Mom Casey Anthony, for 30 days, searches for Caylee. Can we see where she was conducting the search, please, control room? There you go, on a stripper pole, dancing throughout the 31 days. She, quote, searched. There you go. Yeah.
She was living her best life, living the Vida Loca. She sure the hell was. And nowhere in those 31 days did she wonder, well, where is my baby Caylee? Nope. Didn't matter to her at all.
Yeah, I think she was looking up that girl's hot pants for Caylee. I don't know how you kept a straight face. I watched the trial, Judge. I looked at you over and over, and I could swear, yep, there's a vintage shot. I could swear you looked at me in the eyes several times. I moved all over the courtroom trying to get you to look at me to see if you would, crack a smile, anything. You didn't. You were stoic. So you listened. 30 plus days she looked for Caylee up that girl's hot pants in every bar in town. That was the hot body contest. Staying over with her boyfriend, what was his name? Tony Lazaro, and all of his roommates. That's romantic. She wasn't with her grandma, Cindy, or grandpa, George. So where was she? The car had maggots in the trunk. Multiple people said it smelled like a dead body. And she made up a babysitter and said the babysitter, Zenaida Gonzalez, made it all up, stole Caylee. I don't know what the jury was thinking. How did you keep a straight face?
One of my colleagues years ago made the phrase, when witnesses were sworn in, let the lying begin. And unfortunately, in a number of our courtrooms, that happens. And you have to appear to be neutral and impartial. And you don't want jurors to read anything off of your facial expressions. Thus, the stoic look, the stone faced look. But inside, you're wondering what in the world is going on.
I'll be honest with you. I was amazed at this man. I remember watching him and going, how the hell is he not wanting to do something? I mean, not only is Casey herself, it's crazy. The whole her entire defense that Caylee drowned in the pool because of her father and all this garbage she made up about her dad, essaying her, all this crap. And it's crap. And that's not even to mention the attorneys from the state and defense at odds with each other. I mean, it was a literal circus inside and outside of that courthouse.
This is a bunch of crock.
Judge, you have tried. You presided over enough murder cases to know exactly what was going on. My question to you, were you surprised Top Mom Casey Anthony did not take the stand in her own defense?
No, I wasn't surprised. The prosecution would have had a field day with her with the various stories. Imagine as you are flipping through these pages now, they could go through each page and say, did you find her there? Were you looking for her there? She would have been totally destroyed on cross-examination. That's why she didn't take the stand.
Judge, here's a little trick I used when I was prosecuting, and I've lost track, seriously. At the beginning, my first case, felony shoplifting, I got a conviction on attempted shoplifting. I used to keep a record. Okay, I tried this case on this day. This was the defendant's name. This is the indictment number, and this is the verdict. After I got to around 100, I was so slammed, I couldn't barely keep up with all the cases to be tried. Inner city Atlanta. I don't know. I lost track. And this is something I would do. When I would first start the case, whenever I would have something, that's for closing argument, I'd make a note. I had a completely separate notepad for closing argument and a completely separate notepad for cross-examination. And I would get all those together, all those notes, and have a big file on top of my desk, on top of the table, counsel table, and I put it over so the defendant could see it, and it would say, defendant's cross-examination. And I'd pat it sometimes during the trial and look over. Very rarely did they take the stand because they knew what was going to happen. That big fat file, defendant's cross-examination. I'm ready for you. That's why she didn't take the stand. But now she's writing a memoir where nobody can cross examine her BS, Judge.
Nancy, let's be honest. She didn't take the stand because she was just going to continue to make up garbage. And she had no real answer because the truth, the truth never changes. And with Casey, the story would change from day to day, little things here and there. I, I mean, she could make things up, but at the snap of your fingers. I mean, the amount of crap that came out of her mouth. I mean, it was insane. I know the detectives when they were speaking with her, they couldn't stand it. They couldn't stand the amount of lies coming out of her mouth.
Nancy, she's trying to recast or reframe herself as a victim and a seeker of the truth. And nothing can be further from the truth. And she's not a
Put
victim
him
in this
up.
case.
Judge, we are not in your courtroom. You don't have a bailiff to protect you tonight. Did you just say Casey Anthony is positioning herself to be the seeker of the truth? Did you say that? I want to
That's
see
what-
your face when you say that.
That's what she's trying to do, but it's not going to work. She's going to retell that story. You look at what she said in her introduction to her book. She wants to find the answers about what happened to her child that was taken away from her. Well, guess what? She knows the answers. That's why I said she's trying to cast herself as a seeker of the truth, when in fact, the truth and her are strangers. They're ships passing in the night.
I mean, this is only a little bit worse than remember when she came out originally saying that she was going to be an advocate. An advocate. Yeah, she still thinks that she's some sort of advocate for people. I mean, who the hell would want Casey Anthony to advocate for them? I mean, maybe another criminal, but not a sane person. Not at all.
Judge, the title of the book is Who Is She Really? She broke her family apart, destroyed her parents, and I got a list right here of all the men she's been through. That's not a felony. I'd be mad if you didn't, but everyone results in a broken marriage, a broken relationship, a broken something. I just can't believe she's got 10,000 people.
All right, so this is pretty good. Let's pause it right here. Thank you to Nancy Grace and her team for putting the past boyfriends up because hell, why not? While we're talking about her and her little memoir, she had Jesse Grund, her ex fiance. They were engaged during her pregnancy, and he was later proved to not be the biological father of Caylee. Then you had Tony Lazzaro, who we heard quite a bit about also during the trial. He was a key witness, of course, and he testified about her partying during the month that her daughter was missing. Ricardo Morales, 2008, she dated him briefly. And I don't even think this is everybody. I think this is the very small list. Tyson Ray Rhodes, 2024. This is a married engineer. She relocated to Tennessee for him. We recently heard about this. I remember hearing about this, I think, on TMZ or somewhere online. The relationship ended after reports surfaced that he was using dating apps. And then Ben Buchanan, 2025. Another out of state, out of Florida, New Hampshire gun shop owner and former police officer. I mean, why the hell would any of these people want to date her, especially the ones after 2011? Why are any of these guys wanting to date Casey Anthony? Why?
Reading her Substack. They must be ghouls.
Nancy, as P.T. Barnum once said, there's a sucker born every minute. And that's what she has, a lot of suckers, people who are following their instincts for curiosity, wanting to know what the next story is, what the next lie is. They're fascinated by that.
Judge, were you surprised when the NG came down?
Yes. You always know there's a possibility, but the state had a pretty powerful case. And you can always go back and look at something they could have done differently. But Yes, I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Now, initially, I was stunned. I was also surprised, as the judge was. I remember hearing the not guilty, and I thought, you gotta be shitting me. You gotta be shitting me. But the more you look into how this case was handled by the prosecutor's office, specifically Jeff Ashton, and he's not the only one, but he's kind of the main guy, and they they didn't do a great job in a lot of ways. And to me, one of the biggest failures was they did not offer lesser charges to her. Manslaughter, other options. They wanted to go for the big murder charge. And the jury, well, they didn't think that it met the burden.
I read it twice.
You read
I
it
had to
twice?
I had to read I had to read it twice to make sure my eyes were not playing tricks on me.
In my jurisdiction where I tried cases, the prosecutor would read the verdict. I think probably by that time the judges were so tired they went, yeah, you read it. But anyway, I always looked at it 2 or 3 times to make sure that it was a guilty verdict so I wouldn't be, surprised if I misread it. So you had to read it twice to make sure it said not guilty.
Yeah.
I remember the look on Top Mom Casey Anthony's face when that not guilty came down. She's like, what? It worked? Advice for Top Mom Casey Anthony tonight, Judge?
Tell the truth, but she'll never do it. I mean, the world wants to know what happened. We know the babysitter
We
didn't
know
take
what
her. Now
happened.
she had we know that the babysitter was Xanax, Xanad and Nanny. And when the Xanax stopped working, then you had the chloroform. Uh, the child just didn't jump in the trunk by herself. You can't have, you look at the various things she has said. Uh, the baby was last seen alive that with Xanad and Nanny. She doesn't know what happened. Then all of a sudden, the child drowned. Then all of a sudden, George, who loved that child immensely, took her and dumped her like a piece of trash in the swamp near their home. All of that is just totally incredible. But it's consistent with her personality. She wants to be the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral. She wants to be the center of attention. Full stop.
I'm totally stealing that. She wants to be the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral. I'm totally taking that. In fact, according to me, you stole that from me. You're so right. You are so right. I don't think she could stand that Caylee was the star. I accept my children, John, David, and Lucy, they're the stars. They are the stars. And I love watching them. I think you just hit the nail on the head.
He did. Judge Perry, he did. That was great. I think that Nancy will probably use that again. But I agree. I think that to this day, she's a narcissist. She wants to be in charge. She wants to be the center of attention. Look at her in those party photos. She wants to be on the pole. She wants to do the hot body contests, all that sort of stuff. She wants to be the center of attention, period. And yeah, Caylee, her 2-year-old, was cute as pie. Cutest little kid. And everybody loved her baby. And because of that, she wasn't getting the attention she wanted. And also, well, Caylee, I think, was getting in the way of her party time. Yeah.
When you get tired of being a judge emeritus and a distinguished lawyer, maybe you should be a psychologist or a therapist because you just hit the nail on the head. She wanted to be the bride at every wedding. Okay, Judge, this year for Christmas, I'm going to give you Who Is She Really? For Christmas. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Nancy.
Straight out to special guest joining us, Randy Kessler, veteran trial lawyer who covered the case with me when it happened. He is an Emory Law School professor, former chair of the ABA, American Bar Association Family Law Section, author of Divorce, Protect Yourself, Your Kids, and Your Future. Kessler, what I don't understand it. She's writing a memoir that says, who is she really? Now it says over 5,000 subscribers. Correction, she's got 61,000 followers on TikTok and 35,000 on her Substack. Ouch. Who are they?
You know, what's surprising to me, Nancy, is that you're surprised by this. You know, you and I went at it a bunch of times about how she was going to have some supporters and maybe somebody on the jury would have some sympathy. And it turns out, in hindsight, somebody on the jury did have some sympathy. And that's the person times 10, times 1,000 that's out there buying her book. She recognized that despite all this horrible evidence against her, this persuasive evidence, this beyond a reasonable doubt evidence, in our opinion, she still was acquitted. That means that somebody felt for her, somebody bonded with her, somebody understood her, or somebody wanted to believe her. She's capitalizing on that. And the fact that we or you or any of us are surprised that she hasn't changed, that she's still playing on or preying on those people who might find sympathy or might understand her or might buy her story, it's not surprising to me. What else is she to do? To say,
Well, shit, she got away with it. She got away with murder. She did. She in my opinion, I do have to be careful because she was found innocent in a court of law, guys, okay? She, in my opinion, she killed Caylee. Whether or not she did it on purpose, it doesn't matter to me anymore. Whether she overdosed her on the Xanny, the nanny, the Xanax, or something else, the chloroform, and then all of a sudden she came back and found her not breathing, or if she purposely did something, to me it doesn't matter, because then she kept her in her trunk of her car and she threw her in the woods. I mean, she did all of this. And if she just can't tell the truth to save her damn life. But yeah, she thinks that she's untouchable at this point. I think that she really thinks that.
oh, I wasn't convicted, I wasn't put to jail, but now I'm going to tell you the truth. I did it. No way in a million years is that going to happen. This is the natural consequence and the natural, progression of her life. And I think any of us could have predicted it if we just thought about who she was and what she's going to do next. She's going to wait for the dust to settle. She's going to persist in the "I didn't do it, poor me." Turn the focus on me. I love what the judge is, talking about. That she wants to be the center of everything. And guess what? It's profitable for her. Not sure what else she would do to make money.
I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter.
Then reopen the case. Reopen it, Casey Anthony. Let's find out the truth. Who really caused this incident of your child? You think people forgot who you are after 20 years? Your daughter should have been 20 years old, but instead, guess what you do? You come on TikTok. You were lying through your teeth when you say that you have, oh, I've been in the legal field since 2011. You mean when you were on trial? Get off of social media. You are dangerous to the public, and you're a psychopath, liar, and I hope you rot in hell. There's a special place for you.
That is Selena Vantez on TikTok, and boy, she's telling it like it is. Okay, here's my question to Rob Dick. Now, in case you don't know who Rob Dick is, he's a private investigator. He's a former bounty hunter. He observed Casey Anthony behind bars, and he was her bodyguard immediately following her release on bail. Remember, Rob, she was first charged with some minor offense and let out on bail. That was before the murder charge. You were with her to, I think, ensure that she came back to court when she called a murder charge. You saw her throughout. Can you believe she is writing a memoir called Who Is She Really? How did we get here? I think we all know the answer to that, but are you surprised?
Not really. She always has to play the victim. She always has to be the center of attention. We all see it. That's exactly the way she was in the beginning. I mean, the very beginning when her child is supposedly missing, all she cared about is how many cameras were out there. Was the focus on her? Poor me, poor me. Even all the way back before we got her out in the jail. Her videos that showed from the jail visits where she's just saying, but what about me? I'm in here. What about me? It's always what about her?
I remember him very clearly, and you know what? I think he has the perfect last name. He's a private investigator, and his last name is Dick. Yep, perfect name for this guy, considering what he does for a living.
So she's just going to spin, this would be probably her sixth version of what supposedly happened.
Rob Dick, you have a very unique view. Oh, there she goes. I'm going to play that for you in just a moment so you can hear it, Rob Dick. But you have a very unique perspective because you were with her when she got out on that minor charge and was waiting for the murder charge to drop. And you observed her behavior. What, if anything, did you observe?
That, again, it's just always got to be about her. I mean, you know, when Cindy showed baby pictures of Caylee, of, you know, this is my granddaughter that the world is looking for, Casey had to come over and put her baby pictures on top. But look at me. Wasn't I a cute baby? It's always about her.
Okay, wait, you've never told me that story. Tell me that story.
Cindy was showing us pictures of Caylee as a baby. And, you know, this is my wonderful granddaughter that, again, we're all thinking is missing. And at the same time, Casey goes and gets her baby pictures and puts them on top of Kaylee's. But look at me. Wasn't I a cute baby? It's always about her.
You know, that is the weirdest, creepiest thing. Can you imagine? Your 2-year-old is allegedly missing, okay? And they're trying to help find her. And your mom, her grandmother, is pulling out pictures of her so that people can see, you know, pictures of little Caylee. So, you know, we can get them out there more to the media and to the public. And she goes in and she pulls out, here's my baby pictures. Aren't I a cutie? I mean, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, she's really a crazy, crazy person.
I have never heard that story. I would never dream of putting my childhood pictures, what there are of them, on top of the twins' pictures. Rob, you have to tell the story about what she said. She gets out of jail, she comes home, walks in the house, and she doesn't say, what have you done to find Caylee? Where is she? What do you know? Help me. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That's not the first thing she said when she walked in.
No, it's a very emotional moment. Cindy's crying. George is rushing over. They're grabbing her, hugging her, and all she could care about was what's for dinner.
That is what she said. Okay, I need a shrink. Dr. Sherry Schwartz is joining us, forensic psychologist specializing in capital mitigation in cases just like this. Oh, by the way, Rob Dick is at thehumanhunters.com. Thehumanhunters.com. Dr. Sherry Schwartz is at panthermitigation.com. Dr. Sherry Schwartz, I've never heard of a mom inserting her own baby pictures on top of the baby pictures of her child. That's the first I've heard that story. Aren't I a cute baby too? Everybody look at me. What does that mean?
Nancy, that is something that really signals what one of the guests previously said about narcissism. At the end of the day, a narcissist's entire existence is about them. Look at me. Aren't I the best? You should pay attention to me. And that is just one of the most disturbing things that I've heard in this whole case. And there's so many disturbing things.
Well, unlike the jury in the Top Mom Casey Anthony murder trial, many people are not fooled by her latest attempt at grabbing attention.
We're sweat to death. Okay.
Okay, I'm sweating. Yeah, girl, you should be sweating like in church.
Freaking Casey Anthony is trying to peddle her memoir. She posted a preview of it on Substack on May 1st. No one wants to buy your memoir. Nobody cares about what you have to say. Go away. Stop trying to make Casey Anthony. Stop trying to make yourself happen. You're not.
I love these people. I'm not on TikTok really, but sometimes when I see great things like these people going after her, I kind of think I ought to mosey on over there, you know?
Not gonna happen.
The first person was Caitlin Desmond on TikTok, and I'm going to have to play that again. The second woman is Belen, VVNDHP. You know what? Let's hear those two again.
We're sweat to death. Okay.
Okay, I'm sweating. Yeah, girl, you should be sweating like in church.
Freaking Casey Anthony is trying to peddle her memoir. She posted a preview of it on Substack on May 1st. No one wants to buy your memoir. Nobody cares about what you have to say. Go away. Stop trying to make Casey Anthony. Stop trying to make yourself happen. You're not going to happen.
Again, that's Caitlin Desmond on TikTok. That was the first woman that was fanning herself like Top Mom Casey Anthony was. And the second woman who's saying, please go away. And she goes by Belen, VVNDHP, there at TikTok. Dr. Kendall Crowns is joining me. Dr. Crowns is the chief medical examiner out of Tarrant County. That's Fort Worth, Texas. Never a lack of business there in the morgue. He is an esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU, and he is the star of a hit podcast, Mayhem in the Morgue. You know what I like about Mayhem in the Morgue, Dr. Kendall Crowns? You weave in an actual story about a case that you investigated and you conducted the autopsy with your dry wit. It's awesome. So, Dr. Kendall Crowns, your podcast, Mayhem in the Morgue aside, can we have a little reality check about how this child, 2 years old, you've got children, 2 years old, look at her. By the time her remains were found, her 250 plus bones were scattered all across swampy area, which when I saw it was covered in trash, old tires, beer bottles, liquor bottles, trash. That's where Caylee's remains were found. Okay? What happened to Caylee?
What happened to Caylee is after she was more likely than not killed because she has duct tape wrapped around her head, she was placed in the back of a trunk where her body was decomposing. After a few days, it probably started smelling, which there is someone saying that they smelled death in her car. Also, they found maggots. So flies laid eggs. She's decomposing. 4 days, she starts turning green and bloating. They then probably dumped her body because they didn't want to have the smell continued on in the hopes to get rid of it, dumping her body where she was found in the swampy area, where her body continued to decompose, was being eaten by maggots and flies. And then scavengers start coming, like raccoons, possums, coyotes, anything in the area. Mice, they'll start coming too, as well as other insects, ants and beetles, and they'll consume the body. And after several days, all that's left is kind of a husk of a body, no internal organs, and then that gets completely skeletonized over time. And it just depends on the scavengers and the time frame. That skeletonization can take days to weeks to months. It's all dependent on scavengers, how hot it is outside.
And they never even found all of her bones scattered from one end of that dump site to the next.
That's usually what happens is the smaller bones get consumed by animals and they're just taken away. So that's why you don't see all of them. The interesting thing about her is the fact that she still had duct tape stuck to her that was wrapped, 3 loops wrapped around her face, covering her nose and mouth. So that to me means, she was suffocated because you can't breathe through the duct tape. So depending on how tight that duct tape was, that could have easily killed her. And if you're saying that they use chloroform or diphenhydramine or Benadryl, they could have knocked her into a state of semi-consciousness, looped duct tape around her and threw her in the trunk and then found her dead later. That's pretty much how suffocations go.
Dr. Kendall Crowns, an interesting note, you accurately described the duct tape wrapped around her head, across the mouth, all around, and on the mouth, Dr. Kendall Crowns, was a heart sticker right there. Now, what unrelated, cold-blooded stranger killer would have thought to put a heart sticker on her face, on top of the duct tape, wrap her in her favorite blanket out of her nursery at her grandparents' home, and put her in a trash bag from the Anthony home?
Yeah, that's the bizarre part. They do some odd things. They take things from the scene. They put stickers on them that the child used to play with. That is something to ask a psychiatrist. I've never understood why they basically are marking them with things that link them back to the scene, especially like using their blanket too. It's like they're almost feeling like the child is needs their blanket because they might get cold.
If you are considering buying Top Mom Casey Anthony's new memoir, who is she really? It's going to be a pack of lies, because when you don't know a horse, look at her track record.
Everything you've told me so far has been a lie. I can tell you that with a certainty, and let me explain why. Since I left you this morning, I've gone to every address that you've told me. I've looked up every name. I've talked to every person that you wanted me to talk to or tried to. I've reached out. I've talked to your ex-boyfriend. I've talked to Amy. I've talked to Tony. I came over here. I've already talked to all the employees. I found out all these names that you're giving me are people that either never worked here or have been fired here for a long time ago. Okay, so where we are right now is in a position that doesn't look very good for you.
This is the honest to God's truth of everything that I've said. I do not know where she is. The last person that I saw her with is Zenaida. She's the last person that I've seen my daughter with.
And see, here's the problem. And I think Sergeant Allen's trying to get to this, is that we know that's not the truth. We know, listen.
Is.
We know that that's not true. That can't be the truth, because if that were the truth, everything you would have told us would have been on the money.
It absolutely is the truth.
Yeah. It was the truth. And the detectives, they saw right through her bullshit from the get-go. They saw Casey Anthony for what she was. She was a liar, and in my opinion, she's still a liar. This memoir, all her little advocating that she thinks she's doing on TikTok, Substack, whatever social media platforms she has decided to get on, it's just crap. And anybody who could take her seriously, I don't know. I could never take someone seriously that did what they did to sweet little Caylee Anthony. 2 years old. She trusted her mother. She trusted Casey. Casey gave birth to her. She trusted her with her life. And she gave her life and she took it away from her. It is disgusting. It is very, very disgusting. And I will not be buying this memoir, this load of crap that she puts out, if it ever comes out. She claims she's been writing it since 2000 or 2020. I guess she's been writing it since the pandemic. Okay, well, I don't know who's going to give her publishing on it, but I don't think it's going to look very good for them. So I would think twice if I was a publishing house giving Casey Anthony, aka Top Mom, a book deal for her memoir. So let's end this video with some photos of sweet Caylee, because that's what matters, is Caylee, not Casey, who thinks that the entire world revolves around her ass.